now on Inside California Politics. Nearly $1 billion worth of land purchased around Northern California's Travis Air Force Base, with very little known about the company behind it.
I'm very, very concerned because we cannot find out what's going on. This is unusual, very unusual.
Congressman John Garamendi on the mystery surrounding these purchases. Plus, another Central Valley Democrat is looking to unseat Republican Congressman David Valadao. This coming after former Assemblyman Rudy Salas announced he is running for the seat again. How the entrance of State Senator Melissa Hurtado could impact the race in California's 22nd district. And an effort at the federal level to stop a signature environmental plan from Governor Newsom.
For government to have the arrogance to say that this is going to be the future and we're going to force you to do it, I think is just indefensible.
Congressman Jay Obernolte details the bill that would stop California's plan to ban new gas-powered vehicles by 2035.
Broadcasting across the Golden State, this is Inside California Politics.
Thanks for joining us for Inside California Politics. I'm Nikki Lorenzo in Sacramento. Frank Buckley is off this week. The legislature summer break continues, but there was activity both at the state capitol and from California leaders. On Thursday, SAG-AFTRA actors and their supporters held a rally at the Capitol as their strike continues amid a clash with television and movie production studios. This week, we learned Governor Newsom has reached out to both sides in hopes of brokering a deal, though there appears to be little interest from both sides to involve Newsom at this point. So we also learned more this week about the higher than projected tax revenue here in California, which could be good news for the state's financial outlook. Joining us now, Inside California Politics Capitol reporter Eitan Wallace. Eitan, we got some good financial news in terms of the budget surplus this week. I know you talked to the Department of Finance. Take us through that.
Yeah, well, Nikki, as it pertains to that revenue that the state depends on, the state needs, well, it turns out in the month of June, the state actually took in more than $1 billion more than it had originally anticipated. Now, this, of course, is basically, it's a major difference from what we've seen over the last year when the state kept on taking in less and less money than it originally projected. Of course, that led to the $31 billion deficit that came with this year's budget. So, what does it all mean going forward? Well, as the deputy director of the Department of Finance, H.D. Palmer, told me, well, he says he is looking at this with a lot of cautious optimism. Why? Well, because remember, because of these record storms we had this year, well, the state still has the tax deadline that got extended all the way back to October. That means the state still does not know exactly how much revenue it will have. They expect to get about $40 billion by then, but if they do not get that amount of money, then, well, it could not be not so great news for the state. But according to H.D. Palmer, this latest revenue that just came in June, that is some good news, and he hopes that continues so that the state will definitely get more. As this pattern continues, he wants it to continue at least until October, so we will see. But a cautious optimism for now, Nikki.
Yeah, we have 3 months to figure that out. All right, so another big story that you were following at the Capitol this week, the actor and writer strike made its way to Sacramento. Obviously a big story happening in LA. We've been seeing actors and writers hitting the picket lines on a daily basis. I know you caught up with a few of them. What was their message?
Well, their message in a nutshell is that they say that they have not been paid fairly. They say they want to see increased wages across the board. They also want to see increased residual payments. That is basically royalty payments that these actors get when the shows that they appear in rerun on TV. They say that with this new era of streaming, that those residual payments really have, in some cases, literally been, according to one of the actors I spoke to, 1 cent. They've been very, very small little payments. So they want to see that increased as well. Now, the studios, for their part, released a statement saying that they did provide the actors with, in their words, a $1 billion increase, total increase in wage increases, also protections for artificial intelligence. But as it pertains to right now, well, both sides, the studios and the actors and the writers, for their part too, Nikki, well, they have not come to a consensus. There is a lot of disagreement here, a lot of accusations from both sides. So it doesn't look like they're going to reach a deal anytime soon, Nikki.
We also learned this week that Governor Newsom has offered to kind of play the role as a mediator, but it doesn't seem like either side is interested in him being involved at this point.
That is absolutely right. You know, it's interesting. The governor's office told me that he very much wants to be involved here. He wants to negotiate a deal between these two sides. But as you mentioned, his office saying that there really was little interest from either